Good evening, Eagles family. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I'm your host, Jimmy Smith. I'm watching a little bit of Flyers right now. Game 7, down 2-0. Not looking too hot. Feeling a little bit. But today's been quite the action-packed day for me. There was all kinds of good news. We started the morning off. They talked about Sidney Jones and Rasul Douglas being possible, trade candidates. Yeah, well, they end up getting cut. Bunch of other guys that we thought would get cut got cut. Couple surprises. We talked about keeping 9 linemen. The wild possibility of 8 actually came to fruition. That actually happened. So we're going to go over that real quick here. So if you guys have any questions, comments, anything like that, throw them my way. But yeah, there was definitely some surprise moves for some people. A lot of people thought we could get some things back for Sidney Jones or Rasul Douglas. And I understand that, but teams understood that it looked like we were going to let them go. They weren't panning out for us, and that just seems to happen all the time to this damn team, no matter, or any team in Philly for that matter. Kills me, man. It really does. No, I am not surprised that Genard Avery made the team. They traded a 4th-round pick for him. I had him making the team. I didn't think that would be someone that they would let go. It is somebody I think they could possibly put on the IR. We explained on the show last night. I talked about this past week. The last few weeks, really. The new IR rules, it actually is 3 weeks now. Instead of having to go on for 8 weeks, you only have to go on for 3 weeks, and you can come off of that IR. So that's the thing where you're going to see Will Parks. Might see someone like Jalen Reagor, maybe a Javon Hargrave if he's not ready. Not sure exactly what the injury news is there, but someone like Genard Avery is someone I could see going on that list, and that's probably why we kept 6 defensive ends. Someone like Casey Tuhill made the team. He really balled out in camp, so they liked what they saw. Kept him over Joe Osman, kept him over Sharif Miller. That was a surprise to me that Joe Osman didn't make it. I thought maybe he would. Genard Avery, though, you're not going to give up on him, right? So if they really like Tuhill, that's who they rolled with. And that was definitely a surprise to me, and something, hey, I'm all about it, man. And I know that they can't hit on any damn draft picks anymore. So Howie had a presser, though, and he went over a few things, just talking about Jason Peters and how they have a special relationship, him and Jason Peters, and he doesn't think that, he's being selfish or anything like that, and everything's fine. He's doing great over at right guard. And it just really is more and more of like this BS where I can't take it anymore, because it's like, all right, man, that's wonderful. And Cordy Glenn, yeah, he got brought in. It takes 3 days for these guys to even go through testing, and then they're allowed to pass, through physicals and all the other. Woo! Cordy Glenn is not coming in here learning this offense and starting at left tackle for us. That's just not happening. So we have a Hall of Fame guy right there. And the guy we have at left tackle can play right guard really well. So not really well, but I'm much more comfortable with him at right guard than I am left tackle. So, Howie. Pretty wild. I think we could trade Alshon to the Texans. You know what? I really didn't think there's anybody that we could trade Alshon Jeffrey to, but you bring up a great point here, Gritty, for Prez. Alshon Jeffrey to the Texans. That would be a great move. They're someone that's got rid of their number 1 wide receiver in this offseason. That's a pretty wild move, pretty bold move by them, getting rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Dear Lord. They extended Deshaun Watson today, though. Rightfully so. That guy's amazing, but I cannot believe they took his number 1 threat away. And, I wouldn't be happy about that, but it is what it is. Good for them. But, yeah, I think Alshon Jeffrey is somebody, he talked about as well. And, he said that he'd be ready before 6 weeks. Oh, what the hell does that mean? So they don't want to put him on PUP. They think he's going to be ready. Maybe he'll miss a couple games. I'm not sure. You can't put him on that IR for 3 weeks because he started training camp on the PUP list. That's something you can't do. So he is not one of those people that's eligible for that. Now, Alshon Jeffrey, when healthy, he's a weapon for Carson Wentz. And I think that he could really help this offense out. So I'll be excited to have him back. It looks like he's part of this team. We kept, 7 receivers, so pretty exciting stuff. Now, I got this stuff ready to ride for you here. So let's get some of this stuff brought up if I can possibly try to get these damn files To roll with me today, we got our quarterbacks. We know. Carson Wentz the starter, baby. Got Nate Sudfeld and Jalen Hurts duking it out there. Jalen Hurts only had a brief amount of time. He showed some brilliance, though, in training camp. Showed some rookie mistakes as well. I'm excited to see what he does. We'll see what the future holds for him. I'm not real sure, if we try to trade him, what we're going to do exactly. But, hey, we drafted him. It's over. I'm still baffled by the move. And with all these injuries, it's like, you could have done this, Howie. You coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah, not here to do that. Jalen Hurts is on the team. I think, maybe midway through the season, you could see things with him. But it's going to take some time for him to learn some things. So I'm not seeing what other people are talking about. He's not Taysom Hill. He's not a guy that's going to come in and be in these packages that, Taysom Hill is, because he's not a guy that's been in the league as long as him. He's not the same build. He's not somebody you're going to want going across the middle getting slaughtered. No. Not going to happen. Now, running backs, this one was a surprise to a lot of people because you saw yesterday that Adrian Killins, Mike Warren, Elijah Holyfield were all cut. So you got 3 running backs. This is something that we have talked about. My buddy Tom from A2D is something he brought up like 2 months ago when we were talking about it on the show, the possibility of just keeping 3 running backs. So that's something I brought up, that it was a possibility. I, in my mind, thought that we could have kept the 4th running back. Now these guys are just going to go to the practice squad, but we talk about the possibilities with this extended practice squad. Now the practice squad's allowed to have 16 players. 6 of those guys can be veterans from any amount of seasons. It doesn't matter how many times, they've played. So that's great news. So for 6 of those out of 16, they can be veterans, anybody like that. So also we talk about 2 guys being able to be brought up each Sunday and allow your roster to go from 53 to 55. One of those guys has to be an offensive lineman. That's why you'll see the lineman coming up here. So you look at that, they're going to be messing with, doing that, bringing players up, bringing players back and forth. You might see that with some of these running backs. They will probably be added to the practice squad. If not all 3 of those guys, definitely 2 of them, I think, Killins and Holyfield. So we'll see about that. But right here, you see for week 1 is the Miles Sanders show. They talked about being precautious with him and being careful, and now that's what they're doing. He'll be ready week 1. Boston Scott, Corey Clement coming in, spelling him, but he's going to be the workhorse. So excited to see what Miles Sanders can do this year. I think he's going to go for over 1,000 yards. I think he's really going to ball out. He catches the ball too. So I'm excited, man. We really got ourselves a special running back, and I think he's going to ball out because we have other weapons around him. It's not just keying in on him, and he was a rookie last year. So really excited to see what he does in year 2. Now, the wide receivers, this one was a surprise, guys. We just talked about Alshon Jeffrey. It definitely was a surprise because, no one thought he was going to be healthy in time, including myself. I was definitely wrong about that. I thought he would start the year on the PUP list. That is not the case. He is active. I have the starters here. He's probably not going to be ready week 1, but if you're looking at it from a video game standpoint or a depth chart, that's your starter at the X position, Alshon Jeffrey. Then you have your Z, Deshaun Jackson, and then your slot guy is Greg Ward. So your bench is filled with some guys that we're really excited about. Jalen Reagor, obviously he's hurt. He might end up on that 3-week IR that we talked about. So really bummed out about that. I really, really am. But Quez Watkins, John Hightower, 2 guys that have also been really balling out in camp, but it's just camp. We need to see it on the actual field. So we're going to find out. But hopefully our starters stay healthy. And, hopefully these guys come out and, I'm really excited for what J.J. Arcega-Whiteside is going to do while replacing Alshon Jeffrey. I think that's a guy a lot of people are sleeping on, giving up on way too early. We talk about the additions of Aaron Moorhead and Matthew Harper, the assistant wide receiver coach, and also Jason Avant. I think those guys are really going to help these guys out. And they're going to have some time to progress throughout the season. But at least we have some guys to be excited about on this wide receiver core rather than, not to call them bums because they're in the NFL, but, guys that we weren't too excited about. So this is great news. We kept 7 wide receivers. Alshon probably won't be ready at first. We'll see what happens there. But, Arcega-Whiteside will fill that X role. John Hightower tried to a little bit. Maybe you'll see him, a few snaps a game. So until he, gets better, and then hopefully those snaps progress for all these guys. And then Reagor comes back, and this offense is going to be pretty explosive. I definitely see these guys in the top 5. I think it's going to be Oh my God. Like Carson Wentz did so much with so little last year. Just imagine what he's going to do. Now I understand the offensive line and I'm concerned about it, but we know what's going on too. So this guy can roll out. We know what to do. So it is what it is. He's got some weapons though. He's finally got some damn weapons. That's something that we haven't had much of. But the next position, obviously, we've had the best set of weapons at this position in the league. There's no backups here. They kept two. We had talked about this a lot, with this possibility, because we talked about that practice squad bringing up a guy. So there's going to be certain weeks that maybe they want to bring someone up. Maybe one of these guys is banged up. You need to bring a guy up. So a guy like Noah Togiai, he's going to be, on the practice squad if no one claims him. So you got guys out there like Caleb Wilson, Tyrone Swoops that possibly could, if not, Noah, because of other people claiming him. But these two right here, oh my God, if they're healthy and with actual receivers around them, just imagine how much that's going to open things up for them. Just, fast receivers taking off the top, opening things across the middle, we talk about Alshon or JJ Arcega-Whiteside, but, you talk about your slot receiver, Greg Ward, even getting some, and oh my God, this is going to be beautiful. I really think it is. So the only thing that truly, truly concerns me is this damn offensive line. And I really just wish Jason Peters would move over, but, he wants to do his thing. And a lot of people are torn about this because, you got to pay him money. He's got to get his because of what the Eagles did to him in 2017. It's like, look, we won a Super Bowl without him, blah, blah, whatever you want to say. You know what you're doing to this team, Jason Peters, and when you sign your contract that, this was a possibility. So it kills me that, you're playing football, man. You should just move over there. Okay, guy got hurt. I should, I'm a Hall of Fame left tackle. I should be playing over there. Not Matt Pryor. Not, any of these guys. Not Mailata, because you got rid of Prince Tega Wanogho. So Jack Driscoll's the right side guy. And I talked about him being the swing tackle. I think that is going to be his role because that's a position he's going to work well in. And I think he'll eventually, challenge for that right guard spot and when Brooks eventually moves on. So I'm excited. Nate Herbig's a guy that right now can, help out. We talk about him being a center and a guard. That's great. And then Mailata is still around here. But he's, he's still working at tackle on both sides, and we're hoping the best for him, but he's got to provide depth in case anything happens. I'm very hopeful. Matt Pryor, I like the guy at right guard. I'm just really scared. Left tackle week 1 against Chase Young, Ryan Kerrigan, whoever's coming at him. That Washington football team, has quite the defense, and I'm a little concerned, but hopefully these guys around him, some great offensive linemen can help him out. And hopefully Jason Peters pans out a right guard. It's like, oh my God, what if he starts struggling there? You got to make that switch. So quite the interesting position. We talked a little earlier about how he's saying, I don't understand what you're talking about. We have a great relationship. He bleeds green. He off the field, on the field, he is the bodyguard, but I just feel like you should be playing left tackle. We all do, man. Whatever penalties or whatever you do, I don't care, please, because I don't feel comfortable with Pryor there. I like this comment here by C. Swizz. Jack Driscoll will probably start at right guard. That's something I talked about. I don't want him to have to, but if he has to midway through the season, I'd be comfortable. Not in the beginning, but if something happened, I said on one of my previous shows, watch something happen to JP, and then we're going to have Pryor moving to right guard and Mailata going to left tackle, or Driscoll at right guard and keeping Pryor at left tackle, which I think would be the move they make, the latter move right there. So you talk about options if something happens to JP too. You can't just think nothing's going to happen to a 38-year-old guy that's been playing predominantly on the left side, and now he's moving over to the right side. He played right tackle for a brief moment in Buffalo, but right guard, it's a whole different beast. So he's learning a new position. I'm a little concerned, I'm going to be honest with you. So got to figure it out there. But you see the line they kept here. Brooks got put on the PUP list, and that's just something that happens. Nothing too deep to read into it that like, oh, my God, he's coming back. But you can put him on there, and then maybe he'll end up on the IR because he probably won't be ready by the time this ends. But I think you got to look at, he is a beast. You never got to underestimate someone like him. So Brandon Brooks on the PUP list. Andre Dillard is season-ending IR. So that blows, man. But it is what it is. We're going to hope that this line gets it done. I'm still scared shitless. Peter's going to miss 20% of his snaps. Yeah, and that's exactly right, Beecroft, because think about it. He talks about wanting more money. Well, then let's make your contract say that, it's incentive-based where you have to play a certain amount of snaps, a certain amount of games, and then let's see how you do. And, I talked about this earlier. Glenn will not be the left tackle. I mean, that would take a couple weeks to learn this, system and be put into just, you can't just come in and be the left tackle here. It's going to take a little time, but yeah, we have a Hall of Famer sitting there at right guard, and blows my mind that we got to play this game because I don't want to play this game. I know the Eagles don't want to play this game, so it's like if you could just figure something out, that'd be great. But they haven't, and he's still at right guard, so we'll see how this goes. We will. No, I swear to God, if something happens to Carson, I'm not going to be a happy person. Not going to be a happy person. Now, you see defensive ends. We talked about keeping 6 of these guys. That's exactly what happened. It was a little surprising to keep Toohill. I didn't think they'd give up on Avery yet, even though he didn't look that well in this training camp, so it was a little surprising for some people. But you know how the Eagles are. They try to act like that they're going to not give up on picks, but they do give up on picks. So you look at guys like that, Casey Toohill, where I think that, he's definitely going to compete for, maybe some time, but it's going to take him a little time. They just didn't want someone like him to hit the waiver wire. And, with Derek Barnett, you don't really know his injury, how deep that really goes. So I think Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett, I do like that combination, but we were hoping that some backups. Hold on. Apparently have some company here. I'm sorry about that. My dog's been trying to get on these videos lately. I don't know. He feels like he should be a star. I don't blame him. Football's coming back. Getting a little excited. Got him a little jersey. But anyways, so Brandon Graham and Derek Barnett, I like them at defensive end, but Derek Barnett has to prove himself this year because next year he could be cut, traded. He's going to save us $10 million. That's something that you got to look at, and yeah, you better ball out, dude. Sweat is somebody that's right on his heels. I really like what I've been seeing from him at the end of last year and in training camp. So, yeah, he definitely is going to get some time to prove what he's got. Vinny Curry brought back. He's going to provide some depth. He had some issues with COVID in the family, so he probably would have been brought back earlier, but, things happen. So Avery will get a chance to show what he's got, and so will Toohill. We need that rotation. That's how we win the Super Bowl. That's what we talk about. No C Swizz, he's not a linebacker. A lot of people were saying stuff like that during the draft because they don't understand. Like, you can't just look what the draft profile says, and I'm not saying you, but people will look at it and it'll say linebacker or something like that. But you have to understand if they're playing in like a 3-4 or something, and they're an offense outside linebacker. My apologies, losing it. That actually means that they're a defensive end because they're an edge rusher. So you got to see what kind of defense they're playing in, and if you read into it, you'll see that. But a lot of people give people like yourself trying to just read something and get some information, the wrong information. So no, whoever told you that, they are incorrect because he's a defensive end and he definitely proved himself, man. He was getting sacks throughout the season. I was posting a lot about him, or the training camp this offseason. So yeah, he earned himself a spot, and there's now 6 defensive ends on this roster. So we'll see how that goes down. Avery's a blitzing linebacker. No, and that's something we were just saying right back there, speaking about Casey Toohill as an outside linebacker. That just means that he was an outside linebacker in a 3-4. He's an edge rusher. So in our defense, he is a defensive end. He's not a linebacker. He's not going to be somebody that's playing linebacker, but he is supposed to be a pass rusher for us. So yeah, he would be a blitzing linebacker if he were in a 3-4. But that's not what he's here to do, and he's going to get one more shot at it. And they traded a 4th round pick for him, so he kind of needs to ball out here. It's time, buddy. It's time. And then you look at the defensive tackles. We kept 4 of those. We talked about keeping 10. There's your 4 after keeping 6 defensive ends. You got Cox and Hargrave, Jackson, Ridgeway. We talked about this all offseason. It's going to be the best defensive tackle rotation in the league. They're going to dominate. They just need to stay healthy. So excited about those guys, and I hope Anthony Rush ends up on the practice squad. I liked what I saw from him, and maybe even Raekwon Williams out of Michigan State. So, but we talked about defensive tackles. That was something that excited. Very, very. These guys are going to eat. Fletcher Cox and Hargrave are going to make each other. They're just all going to be better, and that it's a rotation of guys. It's not just 2 good guys. It's 4 guys. I'm even excited about Ridgeway. So both Jackson and Ridgeway were hurt last year, so you're going to get to see a lot more of them. I'm excited about it. very excited about it. Linebackers, that's the one we're all very scared about, questionable. I put 3 down here as your starter because you want to look at people need to see a depth chart and want to see 3 linebackers. That's not how we roll because you'll see next I put 3 corners as starters too because, that really wouldn't work out. Yeah, it's usually going to be 3 corners and 2 linebackers. Now, this was a position I wasn't too concerned about because of the fact that I thought Will Parks was going to be able to help as a dime linebacker, help these guys in dime and nickel situations. Well, he's going to be out a few weeks. So Nate Gary, TJ Edwards, Duke Riley all need to step it up. Duke Riley played like 26 snaps last year on defense. He's going to, need to step it up like Kamu Grugier-Hill did. At first he was a special teams guy, but you learn the defense. It's a very complex defense, and that's something he's going to have to do. So you're hoping the best for him. Sean Bradley really balled out in training camp. Davian Taylor, you knew that he was raw. He's going to take a little bit of time, so we're going to hope that he really takes his time to learn some things and can help us. Because I think in the future, this guy's going to be a really great linebacker for us. Alex Singleton, he did so well that they couldn't keep him off the team. And we talked about that being a possibility because we need so much help there. So that's a guy that was a special teams ace. He did so well for us, played like 43%, something like that. Like he was really well on special teams. Didn't play anything on defense, but, maybe that'll change. This, the linebacking core is definitely questionable and jobs are up, so go get it, young man. He's been balling out and I'd love to see what he could do in year 2. And he's getting his chance. And we talk about this roster, it's going to be different tomorrow because, I wrote an article, 4th and John, definitely check it out. I posted it up on Twitter and Facebook. It's just breaking down this roster and talking about some of the things we're talking about tonight, but, my outlook on things. So this whole roster is going to be different tomorrow. We're going to have, guys added to the practice squad after 1 o'clock after waivers are cleared. And, you can do that. But, we're going to be putting guys on to the IR, that 3-week IR. So it's going to be interesting to see what this team looks like tomorrow. But just wanted to go over pretty much what's happening, right now, who the initial guys were. And, I was quite surprised by some of the things, especially Sidney Jones or Sewell Douglas. Couldn't get anything out of him. I thought maybe Sidney would stick around, given a little bit more of a chance. But here it is, man. You got Slay as your number 1. That excites me more than anything. So I'm not going to be bummed out about Sid or Rasul because we have Darius Slay and also Nickel Roby-Coleman. Love that guy as the nickel corner. And then you look at Avonte Maddox, who's supposed to play cornerback number 2. Hoping the best for him. Cre'Von LeBlanc, they talked about, they've all been learning inside and out. So we're hoping he can help out. Craig James, we talked about him being a Jim Schwartz type player, somebody that can really go after some players. He helps us out a lot on special teams, but looks like they want him to help as a cornerback now too. So maybe they try to put some of those guys on the practice squad in Rasul or Sidney if someone doesn't claim them. I think people will claim them, but you'll see a guy like Michael Jackett out there. Some of these guys are going to be groomed to try to earn a spot in the future. So very surprised about that. I was to cut both of them without getting anything. A 2nd round and a 3rd round. Like Howie, you've really been messing up as of late, man. And it's driving me insane. So, we'll try to. I can't give him any more passes. You know what I mean? I mean, what else are you supposed to say? This guy just keeps missing. He's missing. And he said something in the interview today, like, but we've had some really great ones. It's like, dude, but you've had a lot of really bad ones. Really, really bad. Really bad. And they're not even on the team. Unacceptable. This year, these guys really need to pan out. They need to step it up because, man, we lost a lot. Yeah, you should check out what my buddy Gail from 4th and John posted today. It's all the picks from 2017. Just a horrendous draft. And it's been horrible since, man. I think this year, though, turn things around. I think, we brought in a lot of different minds to come help. And I think it's going to be a much different team. So, be positive, get pumped. When you talk about these safeties, a lot of people are, rightfully so upset about Malcolm Jenkins. But you replace that with Jalen Mills moving to where he should have been at safety, Will Parks and Kayvon Wallace. Problem is, Will Parks, who we talked about at linebacker, helping out there, he was going to be a great safety, that 3rd safety to help in big nickel, all kinds of stuff. He was going to do great. Not a guy you put in single high coverage or anything like that, but power hitter, somebody that was really going to I thought he was going to do well, and he will do well, but it's going to take a few weeks, come back, 4 to 6 week injury. been about a week now, so got about 3 to 5 weeks now. That's great because season starts in 8 days. Oh, my God. But the starters, I love Rodney McLeod. Pumped about Jalen Mills being there. Love him as a leader. I think he's going to do great there. But unfortunately, we talk about Will Parks. He might start on that 3-week IR. It's going to open something up. So Kayvon Wallace, not the same kind of safety as Will Parks, but he's going to come in. He's going to get his chance to help out a little bit. But that's why they kept 2 guys like Marcus Epps and Rudy Ford. One of those guys was going to make it anyway. I thought it was Marcus Epps due to the fact that he helped on special teams and defense last year. Almost played 100 snaps on defense. Rudy Ford didn't play any. He just helped on special teams. So those guys are around because we got some injuries. And, hey, we obviously are a little short at corner. So going to be intriguing to see how Jim runs this defense. But we've got some versatile weapons. You know, a lot of guys like Grayland Arnold. He's definitely going to be a practice squad player tomorrow, I believe. So I'll be pumped to see what he does, see if he makes the active roster throughout the year. So look at a lot of these guys, you know, they're going to go up and down off the active roster. So look for some of your favorite players that didn't make it to actually get a chance at some point. It's not all over. They'll be on the practice squad. We talk about 16 guys being allowed to be on that practice squad this year. So that's, you know, that's really good for the chances of some of these guys. So I'm excited about it. You know, the special teams, that rounds it off at 53. Glad we don't have to worry about those positions. It's annoying to have to be scared. I know Elliott could be a little inconsistent at times, but it is what it is. Now, I'm going to get rolling because the game is back on, I'm sure. So, yeah, I appreciate everyone tuning in tonight, whether you're watching this now live. I appreciate everyone for commenting and questioning. But if you're watching this later, Facebook, Twitter, I will always get back to you when I see it. On YouTube, I appreciate the likes and subscribing. I'll always get back to your comments. If you have any kind of questions, you can always reach out to me wherever it be, whether it be about football too or anything else. Doesn't matter, man. These are insane times, but be happy about the fact that football comes back in 8 days. And for any of my Flyers fans still watching, let's have a little faith that our team will come back and let's win this game 7. Let's go Flyers. All right, guys. Now we ran through that. Tomorrow I will definitely be back on to talk about, you know, all the other things. For anyone that tuned in last night, dear God, we had 62,000 viewers. That's the most I've ever had near anything. Can't thank Tom and everyone over at A2D, everyone that tuned in and joined in. Great stuff. Great stuff. Watch out for next Friday at 9 o'clock. And all of you guys that do tune in, I can't thank you enough. Always remember that the Cowboys suck. It's something that you always got to, I mean, it's not something we forget, but it's nice just to, you know, get that out. Just let it out there, you know, not just think it. So, yeah, the Cowboys suck. I'm pumped up about this Eagles 53-man roster. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the next moves, and I'll be getting ready for my fantasy draft tomorrow. Damn it, it's going to be intense times. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope everyone has a good night. Go Flyers! And as always, go Birds!